Hey, folks, guess what? Trump's having a breakdown right now, and it's delightful to watch. And I thought this would be a great way to show you how you can address common MAGA talking points in a way that will have a long term effect of deprogramming MAGA weirdos. I've never hidden my feelings about who the right wingers of this country are. They're bad people. Their souls are wrong. And more importantly, they're dummies. They are so incredibly gullible and dumb. Um, and if that's your family I'm talking about, first of all, I'm sorry that that's your family, not that I said it. I stand by it. But I am calling your family dumb. Trump is treating them like they're dumb. What Trump is doing is more of an insult. So let's look at what he has to say. This last day of Truth Social insanity. So you don't have to have a Truth Social account yourself. And let's use this as a jumping off point for how you can deprogram, because there's a few basic questions. You yourself don't actually have to know very much about politics. You can just ask a couple basic questions, and you'll be good to go. Start with this here, just to show you the direction things are headed in. Oh, it's delightful. Here's Trump posting an article about a coming split predicted for the Republican Party. Oh boy, they already had to gerrymander to survive. They already had to make more power out of less people by dividing up districts in an unfair manner. If they split and they're fighting each other, there is no better news for a voter who is interested in America's, survival. This is just Trump leaning into that. I think he's taken the temperature, and he understands that he is not long term going to be welcome in the Republican Party or any sane political party. Well, the Republican Party was never sane, but in any political party that intends to function for very long. He's promoting it. That's great. If he were a smarter man, he would know we're so far out from elections he could just do nothing for a couple of years and people would have forgotten about all the horror and then he could try again. But he's not a smart man. And so he is promoting the split in the Republican Party. It just doesn't get better than that. But that's not deprogramming. Let's get to deprogramming. It has been learned, he says, that the FBI office that is investigating Hunter Biden, let me just say it up front so I don't have to pause every single time. This guy doesn't know how typing works. He doesn't know how the English language works. It's astounding to see, frankly. It has just been learned that the FBI office that is investigating Hunter Biden sent many censorship requests to keep all of his bad news confidential just prior to the 2020 election. In other words, the exact same people that were investigating him were making sure that he doesn't get any bad publicity. Only good publicity, please. This is an outrageous disgrace, and the same group that is after me on the Boxes hoax, the January 6th Unselect Committee hoax, how's that a hoax? And the many past hoaxes and scams. Okay. So your family member says all of that nonsense because he saw that Trump said it, he memorized it, and he repeats that to you. Or she, God help you, if it's your mother, repeats that to you. It has just been learned, let's start with the top, that the FBI office that is investigating Hunter Biden sent many censorship requests to keep all of his bad news confidential prior to the 2020 election. Just ask questions. How was it learned? Who said that? Trump just said it. He just said that he found this out. Did he say where he heard it from? No, he did not. That, first thing, is nonsense. All of it's nonsense. But you pause them and you say, where was it learned? Who said this? They will not be able to answer that question. If something sounds like a dramatic big reveal, Just ask for the receipts. Now, you will not have convinced them in that moment, but you'll make them feel silly in that moment. That is the beginning of it. Because they will, the next time Trump says something like this, when they are looking for what they are going to shout at their family members to try to get them to join the dark side, or when they're looking for how they're going to justify their insane beliefs, they'll look for the where it came from. And they will note that it's not there. You keep asking them for the receipts, and they'll keep looking for the receipts, and they will never be able to find them. Let's keep this going. In other words, the exact same people that were investigating him, I don't know why that's in quotes, were making sure that he doesn't get any bad publicity. Again, it falls into the, where did you hear this? It has just been learned. From where? This is an outrageous disgrace in the same group. Okay, let's look at post shortly thereafter. Something is going on with Mitch McConnell and all the terrible, virtually automatic surrenders he makes to the Marxist Democrats. Pause, family member. Real quick, what's a Marxist? You yourself don't even have to know what a Marxist is. You just ask them, what is a Marxist? They will inevitably say, when they hear that Trump called Democrats Marxist Democrats, or a group of Democrats Marxist Democrats, they will repeat that. Because, I'm sorry, they're dummies. Just ask them what a Marxist is. And be silent while they struggle. Just, Marx, they believe that black people are getting, stepped on by police. They're Marxists. They're crazy left-wingers. What is Marxism? What is a Marxist Democrat? Just hang out in that awkward moment. There is an expression called tough love. This is what it will look like. Allow them to suffer in their ignorance. It is ultimately good for them. If you love them, you got to do it. What is a Marxist? Can't answer. It's going to be very awkward. If when the time comes that they want to move on and get to this next part, do so, but acknowledge that they don't know what a Marxist is. Whatever, I don't care about that. It's this ominous bill. Okay, you just called someone a Marxist and you don't know what it is, but all right, moving on. The omnibus bill, very well. Could have killed it using I always want to do the voice, using the debt ceiling, or made it much better in the Republican House. Nobody can be this stupid. Perhaps it has to do with his wife, Coco Chow, and their big relationships with China, a historic conflict of interest like no other. Here's the thing. He dots lies with a bit o' truth. Mitch McConnell has a ton of conflicts of interest. But you don't have to know that. You don't even have to know this little factoid, which is the answer to his question. Why did they let that go through? They let that go through because then the pressure is off them to actually get the country moving. That was a necessary bill that funded our country. And without it, if they would have stalled it, then the Republicans would have had to come up with one. And they say they are against so many things that they couldn't actually run the country while doing what they said they would do. So Mitch McConnell, being a much smarter man than Trump, not a good man, but a smarter man than Trump, of course he let it go through. Why on earth would he want to expose the fact that he is working against the country's interests, that he has no interest in governance of any sort, that his party would be a disaster if they actually tried to put one of these together? And we know this because we just saw them do this. We've every time Republicans are in control, the country gets worse. Without fail. They make decisions that are bad. And they know it. Mitch McConnell is smart enough to know it. Trump, I don't know that he's that smart is a word I would ever use for him, but to him it doesn't matter if it's true or not. He's just looking to throw trash around and make a lot of noise because that's his thing. He's a noisemaker. You don't have to know this. You don't have to know any of that to just disassemble this sort of ranting from your far-right extremist loved ones, if you have them, or from the people in your community that are extremists. You simply have to ask, what was in the bill that you didn't like? Feel that awkward silence? Wait. You didn't like the $1.7 trillion bill. What didn't you like in it? They will either have no answer or they will have listened to a podcast that gave them one thing that exists in it that they theoretically hate. And when they name that one thing, ask what that does. The silence will be embarrassing for both of you, but you got to just stand through it. What didn't you like in the omnibus bill? It's crazy corporate it's crazy big government spending. It's too much. But within it, what didn't you like them spending money on? You're not going to have an answer. Let's look at this next one. This is a little piece of internet gold. Trump is going to be made fun of this, I promise you. When corporate media does eventually get around to seeing this little gem, he's going to get slaughtered for being an idiot. If this is what I think it is. Full disclosure, this is one of those things that's so dumb where I'm like, I must be misreading this. I must not be fully understanding this. Was just advised that the Unselect Committee of Political Thugs, capital T, what a moron, has withdrawn its subpoena of me concerning the January 6th protest of the crooked 2020 presidential election. Again, capitalized. They probably did so because, this is amazing, they probably did so because they knew I did nothing wrong or they were about to lose in court. Perhaps the FBI's involvement in rigging, all capital letters, the election, capital E, played into their decision. In any event, the subpoena is dead. Okay, folks, what did I tell you earlier? The J6 committee is over. They've ended their business. They came out with their report. They asked Trump, the guy at the center of all of this, to come and speak to them on the record, under oath. Being a criminal and a coward, he refused. So they subpoenaed him. Said, come on. Now we're saying officially through the court, you got to come talk to us. We made a request. This is a legal request for you to come talk to us. He did not. So they've withdrawn their subpoena. Why? Because it's over. They are informing the court, hi, we're done now. We've put out our recommendations. By the way, it was that this guy go to fucking prison. The subpoena is now irrelevant. So, in other words, this guy's running into the end zone and spiking the ball, but it's after the other team went home, the fans went home, they shut the lights off in the stadium. Why is he bragging about the subpoena being dead? Oi, all you have to do to disassemble these idiots is just listen to what they say with a critical mind. Why did the J6 committee withdraw their subpoena? Because the J6 committee's going home. They already got him. All right. Last one from Trump here. So if the FBI illegally suppressed all of the really bad information on the Biden family laptop at the level never seen before, it was Russian disinformation, they said. Pause right there. So the FBI told him he was getting Russian disinformation. And he's like, oh, So these people want us to believe it's Russian disinformation. Yeah, that's why they told you it's Russian disinformation. You big dummy. Well, at the same time, not letting the many positive things accomplished by Trump, why in quotes, get out to the public, but would instead put out bad stuff, also in quotes. You're using slang. You don't need to put that in. All right. That would be the very definition of the government's rigging of an election. Pollsters projected this scam made a difference of millions of votes. What are the consequences? Okay, first of all, before we get into the especially fun bit where you can start testing your own skills here, what are the consequences? This man is projecting. He is sitting there wondering when the hell the cops are going to kick down his door and throw him in the back of a squad car. He's genuinely wondering when are the consequences coming. I'm sure he himself cannot believe what he's been allowed to get away with so far. Neither can I. In that is one of the few things we agree on, are the fact that we are flabbergasted that he is not in prison right now with prison-issued diapers and Valtrex or whatever else. So the FBI illegally suppressed, he says, all of the really bad information on the Biden family at a level never seen before. And then he says, well, at the same time, not letting the many positive things accomplished by Trump get out to the public. His supporters who have no ability to critically think will walk away from that, and when you are sitting around the dinner table, they'll say the FBI suppressed bad information about Biden and good information about Trump. The question you have to ask that person is, how does the FBI suppress good information about Trump? Why can't Trump just say, I did X or Y? Is the FBI in charge of press releases? Is the FBI in charge of your PR team? No, sir. No, they are not. It is not terribly hard to disassemble these talking points. And I recommend that you do. I recommend you don't just let your family members go further and further down these rabbit holes. And the way you deprogram them is to ask them for more information. They will be unable to provide it. Ask them where they got their information. You will never get anything except insane Trump social media accounts or Trump supporter social media accounts or freedomeagle.net/we're all terrorists. You will not see you'll see a lot of Nazis, but you won't see anything legitimate supporting them because they are liars. Which is why you don't have to know all this stuff to get into a battle with them. These are not advanced grifters. They rely on quantity, not quality. So you yourself don't have to be a political expert. You just say, how does the FBI suppress good information about Trump? You could also just use basic logic and say, what does Hunter Biden have to do with Joe Biden? Hunter Biden's an adult. Hunter Biden's not involved in politics. And they'll say, everybody's going after Jared and Ivanka. They had jobs that Trump gave them in the government, like a king handing out positions. The difference there is that they were involved in government. They were not talked about until they were involved in government. But even so, that's whataboutism as well. You don't even have to know that part, that they weren't talked about until they got jobs in government. You don't even have to know that they were in government. If your family member says, the other side did X, you say, I don't care what the other side did. I'm asking you, what does Hunter Biden have to do with Joe Biden? The answer is nothing. He's his kid. Kind of a bum, black sheep of the family. Okay. What is the relevance? Would that have affected your vote? It wouldn't have affected my vote. You don't judge people by their family members. Why? Because the family member ain't running. Joe Biden was running. That is how you deprogram them. Over time, they will be unable. They will lose their. It's not that they're going to suddenly believe that Democrats are right and Republicans are wrong, or that they have been going far right when they ought to go far left, even though that is the truth. Except for the Democrats being right part. That's not a fan of Democrats. Anyway, what will happen is they will get less satisfaction. They see those things. They see an authority figure saying those crazy things, and they think, yes, this is how I felt about politics. This is what I felt. And so my feelings are now justified. And they rush off and they can't wait to share that piece of information. But when you ask them simple questions like that, what does Hunter Biden have to do with this? How does the FBI suppress good information about Trump? So on and so forth. They won't get that little ping of pleasure the next time they see it. And this is how you deprogram them. Well, I have had a blast. Thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Jake, and this is Wicked. That stands for What You Can Do. If you have questions about things that you would like to know what the solution for is, what you personally can do to make the world better, it is my goal to come up with those answers for you, to give you practical, workable solutions, and present them for you. So leave them in the comments.